that side of the playing field. They're going to explain the mode here, but I think I can do it just as well, so I'll work you through what is going on here. You know Battleborn, you know the DNA system, you know at the crux we've got abilities, basic attacks, we're leveling up our character statistically and ability-wise throughout the round. Actually, stop. Before we go any further, I have to issue a warning. You are going to need to hold onto your hair, put your hands on your head, because after you see how much charm, how much tension, how much intensity, and how much fun is in this mode, I think you're going to lose your mind with hype and excitement. You got it? You got your hair? You got your head? Okay, let's go. Basically, Meltdown is a mode where we're searching for 500 points. Who can reach 500 the fastest? And we'll do that by escorting minions from our giant gateway, otherwise known as the mouth, as I like to call it, to their giant gateway, pushing minions of small and large variety into their mouth for points. Along the way, we'll also be duking it out with other Battleborn and keeping them from accomplishing their mission, while collecting crystals that will allow us to purchase turrets that help pack a punch, add a little bit of offensive power, and protect our gateway, as well as enhance our speed, health, and other things. So crystal collection is incredibly important. Placing and planting turrets is incredibly important, but most of all, so help me God, you got to keep the minions moving, and you got to keep their minions out of your mouth. The mouths will move midway through the map. These gateways that you see off in the distance there, these big grinders on fire, changing the pathing of the minions and the placement of where a lot of the encounters and engagements will take place. And I gotta say, like, it is so good to finally be duking it out, Battleborn v. Battleborn. Like, that is what I've been waiting for. That is what I've been wanting. Co-op is awesome. I think those single-player modes and missions are super fun. I've played them to death at every event, E3, Comic-Con, PAX, Gamescom. But multiplayer seems to be where this shines brighter than just about anything else. It is one of the most enjoyable multiplayer games I've played this generation, and I hope to God that it reaches the critical mass necessary for it to be a long-standing mainstay amongst PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC players. I really think they're setting it up well. There's just so much polish and so much obvious prowess here that the guys at Gearbox have put into the game, that they have innovated and also amalgamated a whole bunch of different games and ideas into this one super cool package. And while on the surface it may look like something you have seen or played before, it may feel a lot like a MOBA, it may seem a lot like Overwatch, I promise you Battleborn is not only different from all those, but like the best of the bunch. It is really darn good, and the entire loop of action, whether it be leveling your character up, whether it be fighting Battleborn against Battleborn, whether it be escorting your minions, all feels really darn good. And they still have about 3.5 months to go before release for extra polish and extra layers of awesomeness. And I am not sponsored in any way. I am not, told what to say. There were no requirements for making these videos except that you can make them or you can't make them. You can say whatever you want. If you love it or hate it, good for you. That's what I was told, and that's what I'm doing. I'm telling you straight up from my own heart, my own mind, my own mouth, that I love this game. I love the colors. I love the aesthetics. I love the mode. And I really love, most of all, how it all comes together, like I said, in those... The crux of it is just the conflict between Battleborn and Battleborn. That's a turret I'm taking out there. Very important in this mode to focus on the turrets. Not only do you want to beat up Battleborn, but you want to make sure that your team is controlling the battlefield. And that obviously includes placing and taking down turrets. That is a turret back at the main base, so we are not going to get anywhere with that one. I'd be wise to go back and look at my map, collect some crystals, and get back to minion escorting. That would be my duty as a lovely mini magician. Other Battleborn are here. Looks like there's a Caldarius off in the distance. I cast down a Shadow Pillar, and it's a miss, but we've got another Caldarius back here, and we will go to work. Arendi's style of combat is so great for this mode. She's able to deal out mass damage to large groups as well as individuals, and I think she just fits perfectly. I do think there might need to be some balancing done with the characters. I know it's complex, and that's something that probably comes later. But in this session when I got to play multiplayer, and you'll get to see multiple modes, multiple maps, many characters, new characters, a whole bunch of stuff over the course of my videos, I also learned all about gear. And you'll notice at the bottom of your screen it says Open Gearbox, which is super ironic since the company that made the game is called Gearbox, as the Crusher swallows some more minions. Crushers are hungry. They don't care what side they're on. They are going to eat and feast and feed whenever they can. Grabbing an assist there on an opponent as we move through their battlefield. Guys are stunning, and I am running to try and collect points. I was going for high score no matter what in these rounds. That's what was my goal. I wanted to be on top of the leaderboard. I have played a lot of Battleborn, so I thought, man, I should be on top of the leaderboard, especially as a Rendy, who I know so well. But the gear is really cool. They're all unique modifiers. By the way, that's Isaac, brand new character. Freaking creepy. It's like a ethereal skull stuck inside a giant mech. Anyhow, the gear gives you modifications like maybe cooldown on your abilities, maybe extra damage when your health is low, maybe more damage in general, maybe a better chance of critical hits. You can see I've got 4 kills, 2 deaths, and we're rocking and rolling right along. The interface and UI is executed, I think, excellently. It's very simple to understand, and it may come across as like really complicated at first, but even that gear system is really understandable once you get into it. And you'll be buying packs all with in-game currency. You'll be buying packs that open up and have different rarities, and there's different packs that are based on the different factions in the game. So if you want faction-specific gear, if you want just general gear of a certain rarity, and then you can use the crystals that you're spending simultaneously on turrets to also activate these abilities. And they must be activated in the mode and the match, which I think is super smart. So they're not default on. It's not like, oh, I can just have a huge boost of damage, or oh, I can just have a huge boost to my mobility. You must activate them, and activating them is going to require a sacrifice of some sort. You'll sacrifice not being able to buy turrets. You'll sacrifice having to spend time collecting crystals and not combating. So it's a really nice push-pull, and I felt like they did that so well. Like, I literally had so much fun every single time I played. There wasn't a time where I felt super bored, super out of it. We're grabbing some Shadow Pillar upgrades there. Nor did I ever feel like the match was super imbalanced. They always seemed to come down close to the wire. And granted, I was playing with people that all understood what they were doing, which was great. But I think that if they get matchmaking right, you're in for a whole lot of awesome rounds. And they're doing a lot to really make sure that this multiplayer and this game in general succeeds super well. So many characters, right? There's 25 characters, and there's some really cool things they're doing in that. Like, some of the characters will be unlockable later on in the campaign. You won't even know who they are when the game comes out. So, like, secret character type stuff that won't be revealed at all, which I love the fact that we get to walk in on launch day and be like, who is the 25th character? Or who is the 24th character? That's super smart. So much variety, and in multiplayer, it really stands out how different they are. I mean, it does in single player, but when you're actually facing off against some of these freakazoids and you see what they do to you and you see what you can do to them, and you get to finally employ a lot of the teamwork tactics with Miko and Wrath working together, or how they all kind of align themselves in harmonious fashion or non-harmonious fashion. At times characters seems to clash, and it's like, okay, we got to figure out which pair should team up or how we should work this squad. I get the KO there and level up again, grabbing I think my ultimate paradigm shift, which is very nice, and now I can cast that. And they've got all the characters. They've got 3 multiplayer modes. I played 2 of them. One is still being held under wraps, which I think is smart. So many games just reveal too much these days. They've got the whole single-player co-op campaign, which I do have more footage of that to share with you. They've got this whole loot system, this gear system. They've got leveling up within each round. They've got a more meta leveling up outside of each round with unlockables and new looks and skins to the characters that are all unlockable that way. I think they're doing everything right. I think they're setting themselves up for success, and I am just so excited for the technical test that starts later this week to jump in, see how more people receive the game after playing, and see what you guys think. Super eager to hear what you think in the comments below. Make sure to let me know what character you want to see next. I recorded a bunch, so I have not every character in multiplayer, but a whole lot, so pretty much the ones you request I'm going to have. I highly recommend you asking for Melka, because I think she is marvelous, and I think you'll really enjoy seeing her. But you can vote for anybody you want. Wrath is a monster in multiplayer. He's one of the guys I think that needs some sort of nerf, because he is just so stupid strong. Caldarius also is quite the crazy creature, as you see there. He just goes to town. I'm still sitting pretty. We got a lot of shards. I also like to do I found some strategies that work, so I'll probably get into those as we move through the videos. There's a shard farm strategy that I really enjoy. Do you see the MOBA influence? I'm sure you can. There are definite lanes here, but it's so much more engaged and involved than the others of this style, and I don't know how they're gonna compete. I mentioned Overwatch, gigantic. to me, this is the most fun, and it has the most personality. That was something that Evolve lacked right off the bat, and I only use Evolve as comparison because a lot of you know I love that game, and it wasn't like necessarily received the best. And I really think that the style, the humor, the charm, and the best practices, the care for the gamer that they're putting into this one is really going to give it a whole lot of heartfelt, good vibes and good feeling when it comes out. And it has so much charm. The characters are really just like, they reek with personality. Like, you can smell it a mile away. I'm sure you can even smell it back at home because they do. Now, you'll notice there's some small minions that I think are worth a couple points, and then a larger flying minion that's worth more. Throughout the match also, you have the opportunity to buy a super minion that then runs into the gate, and he is worth the most. I want to say they're 3, 5, and 10, or 2, 5 and 10. Right now it's 340 to 291, so there a 5 just went in, and then a few others just went in as I continue to climb up the battlefield. I think they're 3, 5, and 10. I think that's what it is, because it looks like I'm at 358. Yeah. Sometimes those numbers are hard to read when I'm recording this this commentary. And I'm really excited to see what they end up doing with the third mode, because, okay, so this mode is called Meltdown, and it's a very minion-centric mode where you are guiding these minions, but you're also facing off against Battleborn. But you can't face off against Battleborn too much because you want to remember to guide the minions, and if all you do is get caught up fighting the Battleborn and proving that you're the most battlelicious of the Battleborn, you'll forget about the minions, and the opponent's gate will swallow up your entire squad, and you'll be sucking and losing before you know it. I get quickly killed by Oscar Mike. He must have used something super special on me. The other mode is more of a traditional mode. It's involving like capturing and holding points. And then the third mode, like, I don't know what that is. So super excited. But I like the variety thus far. I'm eager to see what the other maps look like and how they mess with the minion pathing, because that's the thing that's really cool to me. Midway through, it changes the positioning of the gates and therefore alters the course of battle. It really does kind of change where things take place, and it's a nice way to kind of organically move around the battlefield without moving it at all, if that makes sense. Like, they're shifting the areas of encounter, which I think is superstar smart. Arendi is running. There is a lot of running. You will find that you are, when you die, running back to get to where you want to go. I mean, I think that's just a product of MOBAs. I don't play a lot of MOBAs, so there's some things that I'm not super used to that I'll have to get adjusted to, but I do play a lot of shooters, and I think this mixes, like, it combines the two quite cool, in quite a cool way. Like, it really feels like the ideal, you know, I called Battleborn a video game smoothie before, and I feel like this is like the perfect smoothie mixture between, you know, MOBA and shooter that I'd want, plus like with added extra flair and flash from the charm and from the humor, and from just the eclectic diversity of the characters. So good. I mean, if you followed my Battleborn videos before, you know how different like Marquise and Arendi and Wrath and Caldarius all are from each other, and then they add in even weirder guys like Reyna and Melka and Isaac and Benedict, characters that can fly, characters that can throw up huge shields, characters that can turn into a turret mode. This is a really important turret down there. That's the health turret, and it's really valuable to guide enemy Battleborn into that area when you're fighting. And then you have that health ability to kind of pick you up midway through. We cast a big spell. He blinds me, but I get the KO as I'm blinded because I am so freaking cool. Arendi's got 4 arms. Don't mess with that before we make you drool in death and despair. This is the map that I got to play on for this mode. The other mode has a different map. I believe it's shipping... I'm not exactly sure, but it's shipping with multiple maps per mode, which is good. So it's not going with like a LoL or Dota, like one map type thing. There are multiple maps, thank God, which is good for variety. And then I think they've said that they will be adding DLC and stuff and plan on that all being free, which is really cool because we know how crazy that can get when there's massive season passes or things. Especially for new IP, it's just not a smart idea to you know, handcuff yourself to all of that. It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, whether it's super fun or not. Nobody wants to start off the gate knowing that they're going to have to pay like $100 for the full experience. So Battleborn is really smart in that sense. You're getting a lot of good gameplay here. You're getting to see a lot of like the, you know, the difference between fighting Battleborn and fighting minions. That was such a cool move because I hit him with the paradigm shift and the hand casting, and then I grabbed him with a nullify, and that worked out super well. I've reached level 9. Can we get to level 10 before the match is over? I'm at 480 something, or my team is at 480 something, and I don't know that I'll reach level 10. That's always my goal. You know, besides getting top of the leaderboard, I wanted to get to level 10 and max out my character mid-round because that's just such a good feeling. There's another KO, and we are creeping close. You can see that level 9 XP meter in the bottom left. is about 60% of the way to 10. If you need a little help understanding the interface, I'm assuming that you've played Battleborn before, but I can go over that next video. If that would help, I'll probably just mention it at the beginning. We obviously had our health meter and XP on the bottom left, our abilities on the right, our gearbox in the center, and that will secure the victory for my squad and my Orendi, grabbing the win in our first match, and it feels so good. Not only because there's a sweet sensation